Hey folks, Jordan Chariton. We are driving into Flint. Jen Dyes behind the camera. I can't look at you because I'm driving, but I wanted to give a few updates. If you've seen so far our YouTube page today and my Twitter, you'll see that Flint's Congressman Dan Kildee, who is the congressman that represents Flint, in an interview with us last night, called for an investigation based on Jen and my reporting from last year. That reporting found the Michigan Department of Environmental Quality had illegally flushed residents' water lines right before taking lead and copper samples. They did this in as many as 35 homes. It might have been more widespread than that, but we didn't have funding to stay out in Flint and knock on 40,000 doors, so we knocked on 450 doors. I hope you'll forgive us. So that's a big development in this story, because thus far we had Congressman Ro Khanna calling for an investigation, Congresswoman and presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard calling for an investigation, and now Flint's Congressman Dan Kildee, which we had, I would call it a spirited exchange last night. I won't go into detail, but I just got a response from a fairly high-profile person who shared our story today on Twitter, who shared the interview with Congressman Kildee, who said they are getting pushback from elected officials on my reporting, which indicates to me we're poking the bear good. Now, why would elected officials be pushing back on a story of criminal water testing that is manipulating the testing data, literally cooking up false numbers? Erin Brockovich in our story said the only reason to flush residents' water lines right before taking a lead and copper sample, a lead and copper sample that is meant for EPA regulatory compliance, is to produce false numbers. It's actually a crime. Falsifying a federal regulatory compliance test is a crime. So why would these officials be pushing back on the reporting? I have my suspicions. Maybe because they take money from certain organizations and foundations who have economic reasons for wanting the narrative of the water is fine in Flint to be continued, who take money from foundations and organizations whom don't want new water testing in Flint, don't want the thought or the notion that the official state water testing program might have been cooked. So we're going to do some follow-up reporting on that. We also don't want to get ourselves killed, so we're treading carefully. But anyway, the point of this video is to give you good news and bad news. Even the bad news, I think, is good. So the good news is there's developments in this story. We got the congressman to call for an investigation. I have sent that interview with Dan Kildee, the congressman from Flint, where he's calling for an investigation, to Bernie Sanders' campaign. I've sent it to Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's office. I've sent it to Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, who represents Detroit, to her people. Sent it to Michigan Senator Debbie Stabenow, to her people. I've sent it to Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, who also represents the Detroit area, I believe, to her people. I've sent it to a lot of media organizations, media outlets. So far, crickets. And I'm not going to go to war with Bernie and Ocasio-Cortez. Obviously, I, for the most part, like a lot of their policies and beliefs. But I will say this, even we need to hold progressive champions accountable. So, I think that, to be honest, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's office has had this story sitting there since November. I've communicated with her communications director several times directly about this. So the fact that, obviously I'm not trying to pick on her, but if Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, trips.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Dixie Highway.
If she trips, it becomes big national news. If she breathes, it becomes big national news. So even her retweeting this would make a big difference. Same goes for Bernie Sanders. Obviously, Bernie's on the campaign trail, so we have to understand he's busy and might not have seen this, but I've sent it to enough of his campaign people that they should bring it to his attention, particularly since we are 24 hours away, less than 24 hours away, from the 5-year anniversary of the Flint water crisis. So now, the timing is now to speak up about this manipulated water testing that we found. Because at the end of the day, if the water testing was manipulated and this is the data they use to declare the water safe, how do we know what the real lead levels are in Flint's water today, 5 years later? For all we know, if they redid the testing the right way, maybe they would find the levels are lower. That's what we want. That's what you want, Jen, correct?
Absolutely.
We want to know what the real lead levels are because people are drinking this water. A lot of poor people cannot afford to go buy bottles and bottles and cases
Turn right
and
onto
cases
Dixie Highway.
of bottled water, but that's what they've been forced to do because the ex-governor, Snyder, shut down the water pods. With that said, and some of you might not like this, but this is a tough decision, but we've had to make it. We were set to release our
In
documentary.
3 miles, keep left to merge onto I-75 north toward Flint.
We were set to release our documentary Flushing Flint this week. The documentary is completed. Ty was just working on the credits. I can't go into details, but we got reason to believe that there may be interest in this documentary from larger, distributors. I'm not talking, I don't have any communication right now between I'm not communicating with Netflix or Amazon or Hulu yet, but we did get reason to believe from people that are in the film industry to say you should hold off on releasing it because they watched it and they felt that this would be something a larger distributor might be interested in picking up. Obviously, this is not just a documentary, it's also a breaking news story, so we had to weigh whether we wanted to wait to release it and see if it could get picked up, possibly by a film festival or a Netflix, who most likely those outlets would not pick it up if we had already released it to the public. So we decided we're going to wait. We're going to kick the wheels, kick the tires, kick the can, and see if this could get potential interest from larger people. You might ask, well, why didn't you do that in the first place? A, we were waiting for the documentary to be done. B, I felt that this just has to get out there. C, you can't just pitch Netflix or Amazon or any of these places. You need a sales agent to do it for you. They don't just take pitches from me. And when we were reporting this, frankly, we didn't have money to get a sales agent or something like that. We're in a little better position now because of you guys. I mean, we're almost at 700 combined between Patreon and website members, 700 paying
1 mile,
members.
keep left to merge onto I-75 north toward Flint.
Bottom line, for the time being, obviously, it's available for Status Coup members. A lot of you have watched it already. It's available for patrons. A lot of you have watched it already. If you're a member or a patron and you haven't gotten the link with the password to watch it, email info@statuscoup.com and we'll make sure you get that. So we've made it available for our paying members. We're still going to show it in Flint at a church this Sunday so that Flint residents can see it. We're just going to hold off on releasing it for the public this moment because we want to see. We don't want to prematurely release it and then be like, damn, Netflix would have picked it up or a larger distributor, because obviously that would be huge for this story.
Use the left lane to keep left to merge onto I-75 north toward Flint.
And for raising awareness on just the brazen cheating they did. It's a little, it's a little frustrating because obviously
Keep left.
Obviously, Jimmy Dore was nice enough to have us on. The Rational National was nice enough to have us on. Humanist Report was nice enough to have us on. Roland Martin was nice enough to have us on. TheHill.com was nice enough to have us on, promoting the documentary. And I want to be clear, when I went on those shows, we were going to release it this week. So this is our intention of not releasing it now. We just decided it over the last 24 hours. So I thank those people for having us on. I don't expect them to have us on again when it ultimately does get released. And who knows, We might kick the tires.
In 5.3 miles, take exit 111 to merge onto I-475 north toward downtown Flint.
We might kick the tires and realize, you know what, it would take too long to hear back from these distributors, and we don't want to wait that long and just release it for the public. But I wanted you guys to know that's why it's not released publicly yet, because we've decided to make sure that no larger distributor is open or interested. And this is kind of part of, just so you know, the behind the scenes, this is kind of part of like just having a startup media company. I mean, it's basically myself, Jen, Ty, Colin, who's not full-time with us, and we don't really have a huge staff, so we're kind of like sometimes flying by the seat of our pants. So sometimes like your intention is A, but at the last minute you gotta be flexible to change, because we don't have a big staff and we're just doing the best we can with limited resources. So any thoughts on that decision not to release it yet, Jennifer?
Yeah, I think we'll just have to see what happens.
That's all you want to say?
Yeah, I'm excited either way.
So hope you guys aren't upset. Like, we didn't mean to like get you excited that it's coming out this week and then pull it back, but we wouldn't be pulling it back if we didn't have fairly strong hints that there might be interest in getting this to a larger platform. And obviously, at the end of the day, the goal is to build Status Coup. The goal is to get this to as many eyeballs as possible, which getting it to a larger distributor would do just that. So we will update you, but as we said, it's still available privately for Status Coup members and patrons. If you don't have the link yet, email info@statuscoup.com. We'll make sure you have the link and the password to watch it. Do not share the link and the password to non-members and non-members or patrons. Keep it to yourself. And also, stay tuned to our YouTube channel, my Twitter, because we're going to be doing further reporting this week in Flint. Thank you for watching, and remember, if you are not a Status Coup member, what are you doing? You got $5 to $10 a month? That is what is supporting this journalism. That is how we're in Flint right now, and that is how we're funded to do the journalism. If you saw the interview with Congressman Kildee, I don't mean it in a we're so great kind of way, but like, we're not screwing around, Pat. We're not screwing around. We're here to get in the face of politicians, and if they're not going to do the right thing on their own, challenge them. Frankly, Congressman Kildee has been silent on our story for 4 months because I was respectfully aggressive with him last night.
In 2 miles, take exit 111 to merge onto I-475 north toward downtown Flint.
We got him on the record to call for an investigation. So that's the story. Thank you for watching. We'll try to get more videos up as soon as we can. Peace.